Hello, this is News Live on Viewer Television. My name is Joy Malik. We begin with the headlines. Saudi Arabia refunds over 107 million naira to National Hajj Commission of Nigeria over poll services. Taraba Assembly elects new speaker as Joseph Kunini resigns. Plus, ambulance workers stage walkouts in strike heat of UK over pay hike demands. Many thanks for joining us. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has disclosed that Governor Godwin Emefiele will not be able to brief the House of Representatives because of health challenges. The Apex Bank, in a letter to the House, said Aisha Ahmed, a deputy governor, will represent the CBN governor to brief the House. The letter reads, regrettably, the governor is out of country on an official engagement as well as attending to some health challenges. He is, therefore, unavailable to attend the briefing given the urgency associated with the briefing. A committee of governors led by Aisha Ahmed, Deputy Governor of Financial System Stability, is prepared to brief the House. A member of the House, Shegun, while speaking on the letter, opposed the appearance of a representative. He stated that Ahmed should address a committee instead. However, the Deputy Speaker, Idris, said the representative should be allowed to brief the House. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has launched the National Monetary and Evaluation Platform, IMAC. Buhari launched the project's monitoring website with its accompanying mobile app shortly before the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting at the Council Chambers of the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The President noted that the federal government could no longer depend on its handful of monetary and evaluation teams to oversee the vast number of infrastructure projects spread nationwide. He says given that his regime has invested in infrastructure projects more than any other before, it is only fitting to create adequate avenues for close monitoring by citizens. Buhari also blamed the spate of corruption on the poor implementation of infrastructure projects across the country. Now, the Federal Capital Territory Administration has promised Abuja residents of the safety of lives and property ahead of the Christmas and New Year celebrations. The Security Committee said adequate security arrangements have been put in place to ensure residents have a peaceful festive period. The FCTA Director of Information, Mohammed Sule, issued a statement on the 9th security meeting held in Gwarimpa. The committee urges the security operatives to intensify surveillance in and around the territory so that all forms of crimes and criminality are nipped in the bud. The FCTA appeals to residents to report suspicious activities, movement of persons, and provide useful information to security personnel. Now, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has refunded the sum of 107 million naira to the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria for the poor feeding services rendered by the company of Mutsafwis, the pilgrims from African non-Arab countries. The Commission's Assistant Director, Information and Publication Division, Masu, disclosed this in a statement in Abuja. Now he explains that the development was sequel to several letters and reminders by the Commission to the company on the poll feeding services during the Marshall period. He recalled that the 2022 Hajj was marred by poll services rendered by the Muassal for Nigerian pilgrims, especially feeding during the 5-day peak of Hajj. Hassan, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of NACON, describes development as heartwarming. And on 2023 Hajj, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has announced that it will restore the number of slots given to Nigeria before COVID-19. Now recall that the holy pilgrimage to the city of Mecca and Medina was suspended to international travelers in 2020 and 2021, while that of 2022 was reduced by half. The Assistant Director, Information and Publication of National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, Muasa, in a statement, says the position was made known by the Director General in charge of Saudi Arabia's Hajj missions and the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, bin Yusuf Al-Wani. Now, during preparatory meeting for the 2023 Hajj via a video conference with the chairman CEO of NACON, Kunle Hassan added that guidelines released for the 2023 Hajj by the ministry included the removal of age barrier or limits and the cancellation of PCR tests. The head of service of the Federation for Lashade Yemi Essen has given the Federal Capital Territory Administration a pass mark for the quick implementation of the new policy. According to her, the administration will be able to first in the Federation to implement the Federal Executive Council's authorized 65 to 40 years as the new retirement age and years of service for teachers in 2021. Now, this was revealed by the Director of FCT Human Resource Management, Mohammed Bashir, during the FCT Education Secretariat end-of-year media briefing and award ceremony for outstanding retired workers. He said the Education Secretariat has been able to record a lot of achievements as a result of the cooperation and support of the Minister of the FCT, Mohammed Bello, the FCT Minister of State, and the Permanent Secretary. Now, when News Live returns, the Taraba State House of Assembly has elected John Bonzena as its new speaker. Now, details of these and more comes to you right after the break, so stay tuned.
Souls came together. Came together. Two souls came together. They're never known.
Tat Fragrance, the new luxury fragrance for men and women.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Live in Viewer Television. Now let's take a recap of our top stories. Saudi Arabia reforms over 107 million naira to National Hajj Commission of Nigeria over poll services. Taraba Assembly elects new speaker as Joseph Kunini resigns. Plus, ambulance workers stage walkouts in strike hits UK over pay hike demands. Now, the over 11,000 hectares of land of the University of Abuja permanent site campus in Gwagwalada is soon to be pulled to full use as the university commences a number of joint ventures in partnership with the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry (ACCI). Now, some of the activities soon to commence include an agro park, tourism film village, mining, and others. Our correspondent Rashida Yusuf completes the report.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Abuja, Professor Abdulrashid Nala, noted that the 2 years partnership with the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been very fruitful. The years to come, he noted, will take the partnership to the next level as a large portion of the land will be transformed into an economic free zone. Professor Nala said already a legal framework to that effect is underway. Projects in view include an agro park, tourism and film village, mining, among others.
And I'm hoping that when we come back next year to do this anniversary, the third anniversary of Abuja Chamber of Commerce, University of Abuja relationship, we'll have chiefs that will come under this.
Noted that the main purpose of the project is to attract investment into the zone, boost innovation, grant the students a conducive environment for entrepreneurship, as well as create job opportunities for them.
The University of Abuja and Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry have established a today strategic industry time in the industry leaders.
Consequently, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry is expected to acquire a free trade zone status for the university, as well as obtain a mining license for the school. This is as a result of the gemstone presence on the land, just as the university hopes to commence its Department of Geology.
The Taraba State House of Assembly has elected Jen Bunzena as its new speaker. Now, Jen was elected during an emergency sitting. Development followed the resignation of the former speaker, Joseph Kunini, who was elected in 2019. He cited personal reasons for his resignation in a letter transmitted to the lawmakers earlier on Wednesday. Now, there be a report that Kunini has been having disagreement with the state governor, Darius Ishaku, over the non-payment of 7 years of outstanding allowances to the staff of the State Assembly under the umbrella of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, Taraba State Chapter. Also, under Kunini, the State's Assembly rejected the governor's plan to sell some state-owned properties, including the Highland Tea Company located at the Mambila Plateau and the Sardauna local government area. Nahaman Adama, who stood as the Speaker pro tempore during the emergency sitting, called for the nomination of the new Speaker. Now, over 1,000 women in Ogoja, Cross River State, have protested the arrest of their children by the State Police Command. The women carried various placards and insisted that the state governor, Professor Ben Ayade, must stop the arrest of their children and release those already detained unconditionally. Now, speaking on behalf of the women, Grace Abang said they are not out for any political party, but a request for release of their children. The state chairman of the PDP, Venatius Ikem, earlier accused the APC of stimulating a crisis in the state with the hope of clamping down on their supporters. He said the state governor, Professor Ben Ayade, is desperate to return to the Senate and is trying to use security personnel to intimidate voters. Now, let's take it to Katsina State and how presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has donated a sum of 50 million naira to victims of banditry in Katsina State. The former vice president also promised to address security and economic challenges prevailing in the country if elected in 2023. Atiku made this vow at the PDP presidential campaign rally in Katsina State. Following the attacks by bandits, many of the victims of the attack have resorted to take refuge in internally displaced persons camps. During a courtesy visit to the Emir of Katsina, Dr. Abdul Kabir Usman at the palace in Katsina, Atiku sympathized with the people of the state and other states as regards the insecurity and other challenges prevailing in the nation. Now, German Foreign Affairs Minister says it will support Borno State and peace stabilization process, security, education, and also help to curtail humanitarian crisis and insurgency. She disclosed this during an official visit in Garanam community in Mafa local government of Borno State. The German Foreign Affairs Minister, Anna, said building communities in the state would help in fighting terrorism, give children future through education and good health facilities. Meanwhile, Governor Umar Zulum said without the intervention of Germany and other donors, many youths would have joined Boko Haram group. He stressed that the Regional Stabilization Facility Fund of £50 million, which Germany is a major financier, had hugely supported those states.
The government of Germany has contributed a lot to our Regional Stabilization Facility. Through the Regional Stabilization Facility, we were able to build thousands of homes, classrooms, payment of teachers, motivation of teachers, provision of means of livelihood to the displaced communities in Borno State. And this has gone a long way in addressing the root causes of the insurgency, which are not limited to endemic poverty, pervasive illiteracy, social inequality.
We have set up as a German Foreign Ministry a new stabilization approach where we combine civil and military security, because we know that it goes hand in hand. You cannot stabilize a region without security, but the other way is also true, and we have learned this also from Afghanistan, that only with regard to security and military measures you cannot build the future. You have to also build the state, you have to build the trust in communities, and you have to invest in your youth, in education and in state institutions.
In an effort towards peace building and reintegration of displaced communities, Senator representing Plateau North in the National Assembly, Senator Deng Gyang, has commissioned 38 houses he built in conjunction with the Operation Safe Haven Jung community stakeholders BYM to resettle Jung IDPs in Ram district, back in Ladi local government area of Plateau State. Now, the Deputy Chairman Senate Committee on Defense provided roofing materials, doors, windows, cement and plastering of all the houses, community clinic and 150 bags of grains to the return displaced persons. Nasir Saidu tells us more.
About 689 people in Jung Rob district of Barikil Ladi were displaced in 2015 and 122 households affected. 27-year-old Mary Dabo was born in Jung community.
Mun yi girma da Fulani muna cin abinci a kwarya daya, amma da shetan ya yi aikinsa, ya zo ya rude su, har muka zama wayanda suka cire mu daga kasan.
Hear the sound of jubilation from the people of Jung as the community is now being resettled through the efforts of Plateau North Senator Ivy Gang, Operation Safe Haven, BYM and meaningful individuals.
That I stand here today to give God thanks because He has made peace possible in this local government.
Operation Safe Haven provided a motorized borehole, solar light and station security personnel to protect the people of the community.
With this great feat achieved today, we shall give no room for Jung community to be displaced again. We shall do everything possible to ensure Jung community is safe for everyone to stay and do businesses, which will in turn improve the standard of living.
The Commander Operation Safe Haven Major General I.S. Ali was moved with compassion and made sincere efforts to return various displaced persons to their ancestral lands.
Plateau North Senator Ivy Gang has provided roofing materials, doors, windows, cement and plastering of the 38 houses, 150 bags of grains, and has handed over a clinic at neighboring community to Jung to ensure issues of health of the people is taken care of. Other projects commissioned by Ivy Gang include the transformer upgrade to provide power supply at Gasa, Rob District, and a befitting modern town hall at Haipan.
I am really very proud of the senator. All that he's doing, I'm very proud of that.
It gladdens my heart because this is the first time we're having a hole in this community.
The
opportunity that God gave me to represent the people of Plateau North has birthed one of the most passionate desire of my heart, and that's the return of peace to this constituency and indeed to Plateau State, even as we yearn for peace in the entirety of Nigeria.
An award of honor was presented to Senator Aidigyang by the people of Jang as the man who built Jang community. Nasru Saidu, Viva TV News, Jos.
Now, the Adamawa State Governor, Ahmadu Fintiri, has announced an upward view of the annual scholarship allowances for Adamawa students in institutions of higher learning by 50%. The Governor Fintiri, who made this known at the 14th convocation ceremony of the Adamawa State University in Mubi, directed the State Scholarship Board to review with immediate effect. The report.
Students and faculty members of the Adamawa State University are marching to usher in the commencement of the 14th convocation of the institution. This year's convocation is witnessing the graduation of 2,594 students from different classes of degrees, out of which 23 graduated with first-class honors. While congratulating the institution for maintaining the high standard of teaching and learning, Governor Fintiri assured that the state government will continue to give the university the maximum support to succeed.
May I use this opportunity to congratulate the entire university and the good people of Adamawa State for this landmark achievement, and to encourage them to put all hands on deck until the development in the university master plan are achieved and put in place. I must commend the university for upholding the culture of academic prowess through diligent research and teaching. I'm particularly happy to note that there is a commensurate reward for hard work in the university. The environment is calm and motivating. The scholars are intellectually committed to their goals. This serene atmosphere is greatly responsible for the recent stride in career growth that saw the university producing additional 10 professors and 9 associate professors. This, no doubt, will enhance the quality of teaching and learning in
the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Kaleta Pafarauta, in her address disclosed that the institution has increased its faculties and has established the Faculty of Arts, Law, Education, and Environmental Sciences, consisting of 41 programs in 35 departments.
Today, Your Excellency, preparations for movement to our new campus at Sauda Road, where we're celebrating this ceremony, are almost completed, as construction of 5 faculties, agriculture, arts, education, environmental sciences, and social and management sciences, are either fully completed and furnished or at advanced stages. In addition, Your Excellency, 7 one-story blocks of hostels, 3 for males, 4 for female students, have been completed and are ready for occupation. The university, from its IGR, constructed the main gates you just commissioned, Your Excellency, and erected a 3-kilometer fence in the university. This is to secure the campus. Electrification of the campus has also commenced, as you have seen. Management also built a police station to standard. I'm glad to say the CP today congratulated us because he agreed that that police station is Abuja standard. Thank you, Commissioner of Police.
While delivering his speech, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of the University, Awal Tukuru, disclosed that the Council has approved the employment of 2 persons living with disabilities who were postgraduate students of the institution.
Our university today offers 44 courses over our various faculties, and it's our plan, God willing, to continue to add more over the following years until Adamawa State University becomes a preferred education destination within the global universities community. I'm also very happy to note that our Faculty of Law will shortly start admitting students. As a lawyer, that gladdens my heart, and God take us to that day. And with the encouragement of the visitor and all of us, we are rapidly progressing towards the addition of the Faculty of Medicine.
5 overall best graduating students received prizes and awards, while the former Executive Secretary of TET Fund, Professor S.E. Bogoro, was conferred with an honorary degree by the institution. Percy Dabang, Viva TV News, Yola.
Well, you're still watching News Live in Viewer Television. Business, international, and entertainment news comes to you right after the break. Just stay tuned. sports news, President Muhammadu Buhari has transmitted the Finance Bill 2022 to the National Assembly as the Federal Parliament is bill to pass the 2022 Appropriation Bill by Thursday. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Bajabiamila, at the plenary read out the cover letter of the President on the bill, which was titled Transmission of the Finance Bill 2022 to the National Assembly for consideration and passage into law in support of the 2023 budget. Now in the bill, the federal government proposed expanding the tax net and more equitable revenue sharing formula and allocation to state and local governments. Meanwhile, the House Committee on Appropriation is expected to lay its report on the 2023 appropriation bill. Passage of the federal government's budget is expected to have been concluded by Thursday, when the lawmakers would embark on Christmas and New Year break. Now, the Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahaya has signed the 2023 Appropriation Act of the state budgeting 176.16 billion as passed by the State House of Assembly, about 2.319 billion naira in excess of the initial budget proposal of 173.697 billion naira. Speaking shortly after signing the budget at the council chamber of the government house, Governor Inuwa Yahaya attributed the expeditious passage of the law to harmonize relationship between the executive and the legislature in the state. Well, he notes that this development signals a new dawn that will guide and direct government operations in 2023 fiscal year. According to him, until all arms of government work in synergy with each other, delivering the dividends of democracy to the people will remain a mirage. The governor describes the progress so far recorded in the state as pleasing and in tandem with his administration's commitment to engender social, economic, and infrastructural development to the people. And on aviation sector, domestic airlines under the aegis of the Airline Operators of Nigeria have warned Nigerians of impending disruptions in scheduled flights operations due to the scarcity of aviation fuel, otherwise known as Jet A1. Now, the AON, in a statement signed by its spokesperson, Obiaro Okonkwo, says the scarcity would force airlines to reschedule flights, leading to late operations and cancellations in some cases. It stated that the unexpected development was a dent in airline operators and the industry, especially at this time of mass movement of people for the Christmas and New Year festivities. They reiterated their commitment to ensuring seamless services and safe air travel in the country. Now, recall that aviation fuel scarcity had hit the domestic carrier a few months ago after the price of the product rose about 300 naira per liter to over 600 naira per liter. Now, in crude oil production, the federal government says it was working to ensure that all local and international oil companies return to full capacity production of crude oil in Nigeria. Now, major oil producers in Nigeria have drastically cut down on crude oil production due to the widespread vandalism of pipelines and oil theft in the Niger Delta region by criminals. The decisions of the oil companies have affected the volume of daily crude oil production, leading to homogeneous revenue loss for the country. But in the last few months, the improved security surveillance along the major crude oil corridors has helped to improve oil output from about 900,000 barrels per day in September to between 1.4 and 1.6 million barrels per day in December, according to senior government officials. And the news around the world, striking ambulance workers in England and Wales manned picket lines, escalating of pay disputes with the government following walkouts by nurses and other public sector staff. The series of stoppages and causing misery to Britain in the run-up to Christmas, with railway workers and passport control officers set to ruin festive holiday getaways as the government vows to resist the growing pay demand as paramedics and call handlers walked out Wednesday. The government and unions furiously traded blame over the possible loss of life. Health Secretary Steve accused the unions of making a conscious decision to inflict harm on patients. GMB Union National Secretariat Rachel Harrison hit back, calling his comments insulting to ambulance workers who were forced to strike because year after year the government has failed to listen to them. It seemed half of Argentina showed up to celebrate the men's national soccer team's victory at the World Cup as Lionel Messi and his teammates made their way through an estimated crowd of 4 million. Now, the scene was so chaotic that players had to switch their mode of transportation from a traditional party bus to a helicopter. The bus set to follow a route that reached the central obelisk coal monument couldn't make it that far. The crowd celebrating the country's first World Cup trophy in 36 years packed downtown with flags and food and posters, eager to see the team. On Monday, Argentina's government named Tuesday a national holiday, setting the stage for the climax of the countrywide party that has been raging since its team beat France in a penalty shootout Sunday. Now, ever since Gerald tested positive for HIV 8 years ago, keeping his viral load in check has meant carrying around vials of pills for his daily treatment regimen, while dodging the stigma this could mean for a gay man in Uganda. But he hopes that could soon change thanks to an injectable treatment that only needs to be taken once every 2 months. In October of last year, about 200 patients in the East African country began a trial of a World Health Organization approved injection containing the drugs and Repriven. The treatment, developed by British drug maker, is the first non-pill option against HIV, and studies have shown it even outperforms the efficacy of oral pills. Muwangi, who is not among the patients in the trial, said the new injectable treatment option could help to reduce the stigma HIV patients suffer, particularly gay men like himself.
Over that coming injectable HIV treatment, and I think it will be so perfect if the doctors here in Uganda follow the procedures of giving it to some people. Reason being, how it's going to be very important to my community, the LGBTI community. Also, being with these drugs, you have to take them every day. And if you're taking them at exactly 9 a.m., it should be that way until you die.
A netizen has named controversial singer Portable Zazu as Nigerian's artist with the best stage performance after Burna Boy. The Portable, who is known for his different stunts on stage, acknowledged the post by sharing it on his Instagram page. However, some of the singer's followers seem to have different opinions of his stage performance being rated second best. According to the Twitter user, no Nigerian artist comes close to Portable aside from Burna Boy regarding his stage performance, as he stressed that people were not ready for conversation. Now, the Nigerian singer Harrison, popularly known as Harrison, has welcomed the second child with his wife. The proud father took to his Twitter page to share the good news, stating that his Christmas is complete. This is coming barely a year after Harrison and his wife welcomed the first child, the Viva, on December 9th, 2021. According to the singer, his wife gave birth to a beautiful baby, and the baby has been named Purity. And that's all on News Live. But before we go, let's take a recap of the headlines. Saudi Arabia refund over 107 million naira to National Hajj Commission of Nigeria over post services. Taraba Assembly elects new speaker as Joseph Kunini resigns. Plus, ambulance workers stage walkout and strike hits UK over pay hike demands. Well, many thanks for watching. I am Joy Malik. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs. Good night.